this little girl, I think she was in Brazil. I mean, she was, I don't know, late teens, early 20s. Couldn't have been 105 pounds. It was like out at a nightclub. It was outside, right outside the nightclub. And this guy was giving her problems. And she just fucking took him and hip tossed him and knocked him out.
Oh my God. You can't
Yeah.
fuck with people, dude. Like,
Right?
did you see that UFC fighter? She was like 115 pounds, that Polyana Viana. Someone tried to mug her and she whooped his ass. Like,
Whooped his ass. Yeah.
I try to explain to people, like, a lot of people, like, when they're watching stuff, I don't think they know what they're seeing. And like, they'll see like a girl and they're like, I'll see stupid ass comments online and they're like, oh, well, if I rolled with her, like, I'd just crush her because I'm bigger than her. And I'm like, man, you have such a delusional perspective on what's going on here.
Such delusional. I mean, that's what got me into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, is the fact that like women who are like, I mean, just being completely honest, they're not as naturally blessed with the physical talents that men are.
Right.
But with jiu-jitsu, it's like it's not just an equalizer; it can give them an advantage.
Oh my gosh! I remember the first time I got tapped by, or no, the first time I rolled with a girl. She was a purple belt at the time. Now she's a black belt, and like doing big things.
Right.
Jessie Swanson. It was in Connecticut, and she'd been competing, you know, her entire jiu-jitsu career, still does. It was a slap, bump, and I think I fought off an arm bar, and then she turned it into a triangle.
Yeah.
They caught me in the same triangle, and I fought it off for like, I don't know, 3 minutes, and then she transitioned back to an arm bar, caught me. I was like, and I was a wipeout at the time. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It was the second most humbling experience besides being humbled into jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because that's usually the first one. Because like, I think when people first start going into it, they have like an idea of what it's going to be like. Like you're going to be wrestling and like asserting your dominance over another guy, and like if you're more of a man and more like muscular, like you're going to win. And it's not the case. It's such like it's a complete shock when you start. It's like it almost feels overwhelming, like almost discouraging after your first class.
You feel like you're drowning.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
You absolutely feel like you're drowning. I mean, and you are.
yeah, that's what's happening, right? Like you're being suffocated by someone who's like, and the crazy part is, if you don't know anything, it doesn't take a whole lot to be like in like a street fight scenario. Like a lot of people who, if they don't know anything at all, if you've got like a couple months of training under your belt, if you just know a few basic mechanics, it goes a long fucking way.
Fuck yeah, man! It's a long way.
Yeah, it's
if you can just take somebody down.
Yeah, and just hold them there. That's all you really have to do.
Yeah, put some shoulder pressure into them.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
Yeah. That's probably my least favorite position, is getting cross-faced, and you've just got a guy who's just like, he can just crank it in and like, fuck, man.
You got to bear it. You try to build frames and they don't
work. Yeah, nothing's working, and you're trying to like hip escape, and then your lungs are on fire, and you're trying to like scoot your ass back, and you've got no pop left in anything, and you realize like,
and he's just chilling on top.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing you can do. Like you're just gonna sit here and suffer and have to like, but that's part of it too, because like when you start and you get put into situations like that, you're gonna do one of two things: you're gonna quit, or you're gonna learn and try to get better. And if you stick with it, it's well worth it, right? Like, I mean, if you can just get past those growing pains, I guess they are, but
it has absolutely completely changed my life. I mean, I lost 100 pounds from it. Like
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You would never know you used to be 100 pounds heavier by looking at you.
Yeah. 100 pounds, man. Probably about 80 now, but
right. Yeah.
So the story was I was 100 or 282 pounds, and I was doing CrossFit at the time. And, this little, I'll back up a little bit. So the building that I was doing CrossFit in, the door on the right was CrossFit, the door on the left was Jiu-Jitsu. The sole owner of the Jiu-Jitsu side was, part owner of the CrossFit side. So he'd come over and teach classes, and he'd invite me over, hey, come roll sometime. And I was like, okay, yeah. He'd also have some of his students come over and and teach. So I remember, I mean, little Matt Wheeler, he's 130 pounds soaking wet. He was a purple belt at the time, 5 foot nothing. He asked me to roll after a CrossFit class. And again, I was 282.
Right.
So my response was, well, yeah, I'll come roll, but I'm going to smash you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm good. Yeah.
Look at me and look at you.
Yeah. It just seems to make sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in my dumb mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rob Magal's gym in Manchester, BJJ, got to shout him out. He's a guy that started it all for me and really changed my life and got me into Jiu Jitsu. Now training under Warren Stout. I mean, my coach.
God damn, dude, you got a fucking he's tapped Damian Maya before, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, dude, but you guys have that you've got that wrestling background in your gym too, so you guys are like top heavy and smashing and like, you know what I mean, and passing guard and like it sucks to be on the receiving end of, but it's a great style. Yeah.
And it's funny how it all relates. So I'm glad you said that, because going back to to Matt Wheeler, who, invited me over to go roll back when I was doing CrossFit, that's exactly what he did. Like it was a slap bump, 12 seconds, tap to an armbar, 15 seconds, tap to a rear naked choke, then to a guillotine. And then he just started putting pressure on me. This guy's 130 pounds. Putting pressure on me that feels like the weight of the earth is on my chest.
Yeah, like fucking I know it, and it's all just leverage and technique, and I mean, and the crazy part is like most people would probably do what you did and see that kid and assume that like I got a fucking chance here, you know what I mean? And then like their day would be ruined if they decided to actually like follow through with.
Oh my God. Like I would hate to be an unskilled, untrained person and like pick a fight with Matt Wheeler.
Yeah. Just have no fucking clue what you're getting into. Yeah. And
after that roll, I quit CrossFit and joined Jiu Jitsu.
Yeah. And well, I think, like that's a good point too, is like, I think when a lot of people are trying to get in shape, they struggle with like, I think they set too many like short-term goals for themselves. And one of the reasons that I think jiu-jitsu is so effective, not just at like learning self-defense, but for your overall like health and, you know what I mean, staying fit, is because it really does become a lifestyle, and it's so fucking addicting.
Oh my God, you said it, man. So my approach when like people ask me about the weight loss and like how I did it and what started me and whatnot, like I knew I was a fat fuck when I looked at myself in the mirror, right? I knew I was a fat fuck when I stepped onto the scale, right?
Right.
Like that wasn't enough of a motivator.
Right. That's the weird part. Is like it never seems to be. You got to have something.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. So I found jiu-jitsu, but that's like the hardest part to relay to people. Is like you got to go find what you love.
Right.